Essentially, we've seen 2 cabinet-level resignations so far this morning, 3 other government resignations after Theresa May's cabinet approved her draft proposal for Britain's departure from the European Union. What this means, increasing pressure on the Prime Minister from within her own party, because those people that have resigned can, once that proposal faces a parliamentary vote in the House of Commons behind me, they can vote against the government. So if she ends up facing very difficult parliamentary arithmetic, it would mean that this proposal that she spent 18 months negotiating with the European Union would potentially be dead in the water. In the near term, there's also a lot of pressure from within her own Conservative Party about her leadership. If 48 of the 315 Conservative MPs decide they're not happy with her as leader, they could trigger a no-confidence vote, and that could have disastrous consequences for her future, and there's a lot of uncertainty then about what comes next. In terms of her comments just now, she's been speaking to the House of Commons just a few moments ago. Take a listen to what she said about this deal.
Mr. Speaker, what we agreed yesterday was not the final deal. It is a draft treaty. It's not. It is a draft treaty that means that we will leave the EU in a smooth and orderly way on the 29th of March 2019, and which sets the framework for a future relationship that delivers in our national interest.
And as you guys can hear there from that laughter that greeted her comment, she faces a huge amount of skepticism within her own party and from the major opposition parties about this process. What's going to happen next? Next Sunday, the European leaders, the EU 27 as they're called, will meet in Brussels for an emergency summit. They will then potentially sign off on this deal, at which point it comes back to the various European parliaments, including the one behind me, for that crucial vote. And at that point, we'll get a better sense of whether this will indeed go through in what she calls an orderly fashion.
Willem, orderly may be a stretch, at least at this point, given what we've already heard.
Yeah, I think that's a very fair point. I mean, essentially, the big criticism from within her own party, and there have been dozens of MPs that have been talking about this over recent weeks, is part of this agreement requires the UK, if they cannot organise a trade agreement in the future with the European Union, to fall back on a set of circumstances that keeps the UK inside essentially a customs union with the rest of the EU. That is something that a lot of people who voted in favour of Brexit are not happy about, and that includes members, clearly, of her own cabinet who have now resigned, but also a large number of MPs in the House behind me.